Chris Billam-Smith, brilliant victory over Armend Xhoxhaj. How you feeling? I can still see the cuts and bruises from an epic 5-round encounter.
Yeah, no, I'm all good. Obviously, got a few stitches from a head clash. I think that was in the 4th round. But yeah, no, obviously caught me with a couple of shots, so I got a few bruises, etc. But yeah, no, all good, happy, pleased with the finish, and yeah, glad to get the win, obviously.
Yeah, let's talk about the fight first of all. Took an early barrage, first 3 rounds. You were getting yourself into it. You know, you don't hold back anyway. You want to kind of let go when you're fighting, don't you? But come that 5th round, I've just watched it back again. I mean, I must have watched it 6 times, to be honest, because you just want to watch it. It starts with the uppercut, then the body shot, the left hook, the body shot again, the hooks, the uppercut finish. You watched it a few times?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously been shared a lot across social media, and I get tagged in it. So I think every time I've been tagged in it, I've watched it. So it's obviously probably my best knockout of my career. Thankfully, obviously Armend is all good and healthy and safe, which allows me to enjoy it and enjoy watching it.
Like you say, it's a brutal enactment. It's brutal artistry when that happens. But as you also say, when you get a knockout of that nature, it travels, it melts the internet, it travels the social media sphere, and it puts your name in lights. And there's been a lot of talk afterwards now. I mean, you're 7-4, 3-2 with the WBC, WBA, IBF, and WBO. Obviously, he was ranked as well in the top 15, I think, with 2 of the organisations. So puts you in a fantastic position going into 2023, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the talk before the fight was obviously about the next one being a world title fight, and I sort of welcome the pressure of that, because obviously these are the sort of fights that you can slip up in. But yeah, it's all that talk, and then obviously I'm very well positioned with all the governing bodies. So yeah, and now all the talk now is obviously about the big one.
So WBC is Ilunga Makabu, WBA is Armend Xhoxhaj, IBF is Jai Opataya, and the WBO is Lawrence Okoli. And Lawrence Okoli is obviously on the move, and there's talk about, obviously there's purse bids at the moment, there's talk about Okoli coming under the same setup. That's kind of whispered at the moment, we don't really know. But have I heard you call out Jai Opataya, or have I imagined that, Chris?
No, I mean, his name got mentioned to me. His manager was at the Isaac Chamberlain fight. So obviously they were interested then, and they were obviously looking to do some sort of deal with Sky. And I think I'm sort of the only person who's willing to fight him in that sense. A lot of the other fighters who are at my stage are looking to fight the likes of Makabu towards the end of his career. They see him as the easiest touch, which maybe I agree with regards to the champions. But it's Jopataya's sort of beat the man. Bradis was sort of the man of the division. Obviously, Lawrence for me is he's a friend, and I see Lawrence as the number one. But Jai's the sort of the man, and also Lawrence is his situation he's dealing with at the moment. But yeah, so he obviously beat Bradis, who was, and that was for the Ring Magazine belt as well. So,
so is fighting Lawrence an issue at the moment? Is that an issue for you?
I don't think that fight would ever happen. To be honest, we trained together for years.
Yeah.
Obviously not training with Shane now, but it's not like there was any fallout. And we out fighting each other when both said that we don't think it ever happened. So I mean, obviously it's a strange sport, and never say never, but I can't see that fight happening. So thankfully we are in a 4-belt era in regards to that. But yeah, and we'll there's other routes we can go.
Yeah, no, listen, I'm making you and ah about that. What goes? Is there a certain point with some people that you just think, no, that person feels like family or a brother.
Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, yeah. You know, me and Lawrence sparred hundreds of rounds, and we still speak now. He congratulated me on the other night and things like that. So we spent many years together training alongside each other. Um, and yeah, it would definitely. I think it'd feel strange for both of us to have that fight, and yeah, and it'd be yeah, I think it'd be strange for sure.
Obviously, Richard Riakporhe's there. You two are in a race for those. As you said, I think on Saturday night, he could have fought. It could have been you and he fighting on Saturday night. But maybe it might be a bigger fight if you've both got world titles as well. So there's that to think about. Obviously, Richard is someone you want to fight again. You're both under the same promotional banner. It's on Sky, so it'd be a massive. It's the only loss in your career, 3 years ago. Have you changed and improved in that time as a result of that? Have you used that to change the way you are as a boxer? And do you think you will end up fighting each other in 2023?
Yeah, absolutely. I've changed. You know, I've improved so much. I think for me, that was my first 50-50, my first real proper test. You know, one that the first one I wasn't expected to win. You know, a lot of people thought I was getting wiped out there within a round or two. So I obviously, you know, proved all those people along. Me and my team believe I won the fight. That it was a close fight. It's one of them that can go either way. So I'm not going to kick up a fuss about it. But yeah, it's definitely a fight. You know, I can see happening in the new year, because especially if we both win world titles, like you said, that's a monumental fight. Then people love a domestic rivalry, and because the first fight was so close, you know, it was a split decision. And I'm, you know, the only person who's sort of pushed. So yeah, that would. Sorry, got my little man here.
Are you going Christmas shopping? You're going basically, I imagine. So
no, we've just been. We're on our way back. So me and Richard, that fight for world titles is huge. I think that's the would be like the biggest fight in my career. But you know, first we both go away and win our world titles.
Do you think it might end up Riakporhe fighting Lawrence first?
Potentially, I don't know. I think from what I heard was Richard was trying to fight Makabu. He's obviously boxed a few southpaws recently as well, so he's obviously prepping himself in a few camps, which I guess is the right thing to do for him. Getting some southpaw sparring and fighting southpaws, etc. So yeah, you know, who knows what will happen. And Richard said it the other day, maybe me versus him is a even bigger fight than him versus Lawrence due to our history.
It's incredible, the 4 world champions as well, and yourselves. So few, the group of you with so few losses at the top of that division. Would you hope, if it is Jai Opetaia, that you can get that fight in the UK rather than to have to go over to Australia? Is that the thinking?
Absolutely, and that's all the talk. You know, I think he's willing to travel. And for me, my dream has always been to win a world title at the AFC Bournemouth Stadium, at Vitality Stadium. So for me, that would be a dream come true. But yeah, I've travelled around Australia as a kid for 8 months. I've seen it all. So he can come and have a look around our country and give me his belt.
You mentioned Bournemouth there. Your last 2 fights in Bournemouth. Developing a really good following there, and Bournemouth hasn't had a lot of boxing over the years. Obviously, Portsmouth down the road, the Navy, big boxing tradition there with that Tony Oakey, those kind of guys who I remember from years back. The great Tony Oakey, great servant to British boxing, who you'll know as well, of course, very well. It must be brilliant to be developing that home support. There's nothing like it, I imagine.
No, there really isn't, and I knew I'd have a good following down here from when the first fight got announced in the summer, but how the reception and the atmosphere they created that night, and then again on Saturday, and the support I've had since has been it's been huge. It's been so immense, and I'm so grateful to all the fans and the whole town for turning out. And everywhere I go, people are congratulating me and on the fights at the weekend or asking for photos and stuff. So it's lovely, and I'm so very, very proud to have that support.
A couple of other things. This one's controversial, and the other one involves love. I interviewed Lawrence the other day for the YouTube channel on PitchBoxing and for an article, and he'd been very down in the dumps about the way his career's gone in the last 6 months. Are you aware of that? Have you been aware of it as friends? And when a grown man like Lawrence talks about being bullied, feels bullied, and it's hit him emotionally what's happened over the last 6 months and the way he's been treated. Does it make you think that boxers have to have great solidarity and support each other and not allow themselves? I mean, he said he was bullied as a kid, and that's partly why he wants to stand up for himself. Is it very important that boxers are not bullied by promoters or bullied by managers into doing certain things? 'Cause at the end of the day, your body is your weapon, isn't it? And your body is everything to you, and it's you guys that put yourself in the firing line. I just wonder whether you felt it for Lawrence when he was saying he felt bullied.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know the ins and outs of the situation. I don't like to get involved in his business, but at the end of the day, I want to see Lawrence fighting, and he hasn't been, which is what most fans want to see. They want to see that he's a world champion at the end of the day. So we want to see him as active as possible. We want to see him back out there and fighting and defending his belt. I know obviously he's been ordered recently to fight David Light, so hopefully that situation can get resolved, and he can get back active and get his career back firing. It's always, I think it's been 10 months now since he last boxed. So obviously like I said, I don't know the ins and outs, but I want to see him back out and back boxing.
And the other one involves your wedding ring on your lace on your boot. Where does that come from, and what does that do for you when you go in the ring? Obviously, I don't know your wife or your partner's name, but what does that do for you? Is it superstition? What is that?
I actually stole it off George Groves. George Groves used to do his wedding ring on his laces. He and obviously I saw that he did that, and I thought that's a really good idea for a number of reasons. One, obviously it's nice to have that part of you, your wife there with you, but also it means you're not losing your wedding ring and it's not getting nicked in the changing room. So I do it every training session. I tie it to my laces, whether that's a strength session or because I don't want it, whilst I'm holding weights or whatever. But also I don't want to and we can't have it when I'm boxing. So for me, it's it helps. I've just become a habit, and it helps me just remember. It's a proud feeling putting it around my laces, even during training sessions, and especially at fight night as well.
Well, you got an early Christmas present yourself with a brilliant knockout at the weekend. What's the nipper getting for Christmas?
Oh, he'll be 7 months old on Boxing Day.
Oh, he's a baby.
Yeah, real baby. So I think this year's we're quite lucky. He doesn't know too much. He's not expecting too much, which is good because he's not getting that much. But I'm sure the family
members with bells in them. Maybe, I don't
know. Maybe no, but we've got him a few little bits. Nothing major at this stage. But he's obviously we're away as well. We're going away for Christmas to Estonia, so we can't take too much with us. But we're looking forward to that.
Lovely. It's great to see you. Congratulations on a fantastic victory. Can't wait to see your progress in 2023. World title, hopefully.
Thank you very much, Gareth. I appreciate it.